loss and pain for decades. The latest Israeli assault on Gaza, dubbed Guardians of the Gate, is upon the Palestinians, with all its pain and destruction. The aim of this latest assault, as Israeli Prime Minister put it, is to restore deterrence and prevent future conflict. Madam President, what's happening is a recipe for future conflicts. To prove it, I'll call you to recall the 7 Israeli major operations, military operations, that Israel undertook against Gaza since 2006, with the aim of creating deterrence. All Israeli operations start the same and ended with the same pain and suffering. They turned Gaza into a large prison of 2 million people and caused thousands of lives, with more thousands injured, homes destroyed, while whole families perished, schools and hospitals targeted, buildings turned into rubble, but they never succeeded in silencing the Palestinians. From the first military operation in 2006, Summer Rains it's called, to the second operation, Autumn Clouds, in 2006 also, to the start of the blockade of Gaza in 2007, to Hot Winter Operation in 2008, to Cast Lead in 2008 also, to Returning Echo 2012, to Protective Edge 2014, to killing the protesters on the border of Gaza in 2018, and to now the Guardians of the Gate. In this operation, the situation in Gaza is grave, with over 230 Palestinians killed, 63 of them are children, and 40 are women, with thousands injured and over 50,000 people reported displaced. Madam President, nothing can guard against a people who are determined to defend their homes, and no deterrence will work in the face of a people who want to break free. Like all the other operations before, the fight will end with a ceasefire probably, but it will not end the conflict, because this is not about rockets and weapons and ceasefires. It is about occupation and self-determination. It's also about a holy city, Jerusalem, the key to peace in our time and in all time. Jerusalem, the city of peace, is what brought things to a head, because the Palestinians feel that it is slipping from their hands one neighborhood at a time to the occupation. That's why May 2021 saw the Palestinians, all the Palestinians everywhere, rise to defend themselves, and the latest attack on their rights in the city and its holy places, when the Israeli army entered the Haram Sharif, the third most sacred place in Islam, during the holy month of Ramadan, and attacked the worshippers inside the mosque. The Palestinian anger did not come from the thin air. It's a mere consequence of decades of occupation, humiliation, disposition, imprisonment, annexation, and settlement activities. It is also coming from years of impunity of successive Israeli government and their policies, years of indifference by the international community to their plight that brought the Palestinians to this explosive situation, to a state of despair that left them with no recourse but to defend themselves. Evictions of the Palestinians from their ancestral homes in Jerusalem have been going on since the beginning of the occupation, in a policy that aims at emptying Jerusalem of its Palestinian population. The Sheikh Jarrah case is only the latest example of that policy. Demolition of homes is another Israeli policy that the Palestinians see it rightly as uprooting them from their land. For the first time in decades, the continued oppression of the Israeli policies and government actions have united the Palestinians like never before. The general strike that's being observed is a wake-up call to everybody that going back to the status quo ante will not pass this time. Madam President, the Palestinians and the world are demanding change. They are rejecting Israel's continued policy of creating facts on the ground and undermining the agreed-upon formula for peace. They want a commitment and adherence to the comprehensive, lasting settlement, a just solution, one that ends the occupation and preserves the foundations of a Palestinian state to make the two-state solution viable. They want from the Security Council to shoulder its responsibility under the Charter and end this war. The United Nations and the international community must renew their support and commitment to a settlement that guarantees the political rights of the Palestinians and a solution on the basis of international law, United Nations resolutions 242, 338, 2334, and the Arab Peace Initiative of 2002, and the principle of land for peace that leads to the establishment of an independent Palestinian state with Al-Quds Sharif as its capital. Time is of essence on reaching a solution to the Palestinian question. Extremism and radicalization are on the rise inside Israel, and the senseless attacks that we saw the last 2 weeks raise alarm bells of what to come. The chants of death to the Arabs heard by these extremists culminated in lynching of a Palestinian last week. The Palestinians are afforded protection under the Geneva Conventions, and the Israeli government has the responsibility to do so. Israel has also the responsibility to adhere to international humanitarian law when dealing with the Palestinians and those around it. A week ago, Israeli forces shot and killed an unarmed 21-year-old Lebanese protester who was expressing his solidarity with the Palestinians on the border. The continued Israeli attacks are fueling emotions and anger all over the Arab world. The tensions on the southern border of Lebanon are a stark reminder that the whole region will not find durable peace and security unless the Palestinian question is resolved. Lebanon remains committed to Resolution 1701 and does not want to see escalation. Israel also destroyed the building that housed the international media in Gaza. The world will not be blind with Israeli actions if it destroys the building that journalists work and live in. Madam President, in conclusion, we call for a ceasefire that will stop the suffering of the Palestinian people and the bloodshed. But a ceasefire is not a solution. It is a band-aid. What is needed now is a political solution that ends this conflict once and for all. What's needed now is freedom for the Palestinians, end of occupation, and for Jerusalem to be once again the city of peace for the whole world. I thank you.
I thank the distinguished representative of Lebanon. I now give the floor to the distinguished representative of the United Kingdom.